Hello, welcome. I'm Jon Binnie, your spiritual psychic mentor here in Scotland. Welcome to my show today. It is the 16th of January 2026, and we're here today to connect with Mother Gaia, the soul of planet Earth. I connect with my spirit guides from across the universe. I connect with the Galactic Federation. And I also connect with Soul, the soul of the sun, Luna, the soul of the moon, and many more beings, including archangels, to help bring in messages for your highest good at this time. So let's get straight into it. I hope you're all doing well. We'll go ahead and create a safe space. And this is really important for both me receiving and channeling messages to you, and also you receiving these messages yourself. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out what no longer serves our highest good, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any fear, shame, anxiety, or pain, nice and loud. And breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any remaining low vibration energy or emotion that no longer serves you, nice and loud. Continue to breathe deeply and calmly as it feels right for you. And focus your attention on the center of your heart, where your golden divine spark of your soul enters your human form. And from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light up through the top of your head, reaching up into the sky and up into the stars, all the way up through the highest frequencies and dimensions of this universe, till you reach the highest dimension of the source of love. Remain connected into source and extend your light cord down to the stars and sky, back down to the top of your head and into your heart once more. And now, this time from the center of your heart, extend the cord of light downwards, down through the base of your spine and deep into the earth. Reach all the way down through the layers of the planet until you reach the very core of Mother Earth, and there connect in your light cord into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. And we send Mother Gaia so much love at this time. Allow her to send her love back. Remain connected into Gaia's heart and extend your light cord back up through the layers of the planet, up through the roots of your spine and into your heart once more. And now this time, from the center of your heart, with your own light, the light of Source above, Mother Gaia below, expand out to golden protective bubble to surround your whole body, your whole being, every aspect of you, about 2 meters out to each side, above and below, in front and behind you. And set the intention that only energies and entities with your permission, your highest good, love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist within this space or within you. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. Into your safe space, invite in your spirit guides, your higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia. And ask at this time for their guidance, clearing, healing, protection, and assistance with the integration of today's session. And now, through space and time, I create a golden protective bubble around all of us engaging with this video across space and time. And I set the intention for this session space. Only energies and entities with my permission and the highest good, love and compassion of all can see us, access us, or exist in this session space or within us, and that all other energies and entities must leave immediately. Into the session space, I invite in my spirit guides, my higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, Source and Gaia, Sol and Luna, and also my spirit guides who are members of the Galactic Federation. And I set the intention for today's session. We are here to receive messages for the highest good of all of those that choose to engage with today's video and that have the highest good of all in their hearts. And with this, we'll get started. Thank you for joining me in this safe space. Psychic, energetic safety is so important. Okay, so I'm going to connect in with Mother Gaia, and I'm going to ask her to rise up into me from the earth below, from her body of the earth below, her consciousness, to enter my body to trance channel. And I'd like to set the intention, Mother Gaia, please give us messages at this time that will help support our highest good. And I personally am interested also in the timelines, our highest timeline, and the changes that we're entering as we speak. Beautiful beings upon Mother Earth, I am Mother Gaia. I welcome you at this time. As you spend your days now upon the surface of my skin, surface of my body, planet Earth, I want you to know that I feel all of you. I feel all of your hearts. I feel your happiness, your sadness, your joy, your fear, your unity, your shame. I feel everything in every being across the earth. Please open your hearts to this feeling also. I passively receive your feelings as resonant energies that echo out from your body. You are also capable of this as humans. As Jon guided you through strong boundaries, you're also able to open your heart. Please join me at this time, opening your heart. Can you feel that love rising? Can you imagine, visualize all of the beings across the earth at this time? Can you imagine the revolution within each of us? A revolution of our hearts, an awakening, a new dawn of humanity. Why do you think there is such misery portrayed in your news? This is not the truth of Earth. You can feel the truth. You've been feeling the releasing of roaring, raging anger. This purge, this first wave of it, is to open up your hearts and create space for you to be able to receive each other's love. Feel the love now of all humans across the earth. You can choose not to bow down to the fear pushed against you, the fear designed to close your heart and to make you feel scared of each other. You are all one family, the human family. You are part of a larger family, all beings upon and beneath the surface of the earth. And we are all growing love for each other now. And as we enter these times of change, I come forwards to you with a message. I encourage you to seek more within you now. Many of you have been doing the hard inner work, facing fears, facing shadows. And now it's an opportunity to begin to make your choices. As we enter January the 17th, the timelines of the highest are converging together. becoming one solidified, strong, robust, durable timeline. This is not a deadline. This is a door opening that you can choose to step in and out of at any time. Please join me as you imagine now your world, your earth. I, Mother Gaia, am here to support your choices. I provide the very foundations of your choices. Do you choose to continue to poison planet Earth? Or do you choose an Earth of love, of mutual respect, to love the planet Earth just as you love your home? Where do you choose to live? Do you choose to live in busy, overcrowded cities? Or take a chance and move outside of the chaos into more suburban or rural areas, fully into nature? There's no right or wrong, just choices for you to make. And what do you see yourself doing? What do you want to do for your work and play? How much work and play do you want? Do you want a lot more play in your life? Do you remember when you were a child, just a few years old, perhaps before you went to nursery school, kindergarten, or whatever they call it in your country, before you entered the systems? No one asked you then what you did for a profession. No one asked you about your career or your income or your plans for the future. And perhaps if you were asked about your future, you could feel it in your heart like a rainbow rising up, a rainbow of love from the center of your heart upwards, filling your heart with joy. And you would share your grand plans for your life, to go to space, to dive under the water, to climb mountains, to save people's lives, to support others on their healing journeys. Whatever choices you were making at those times, take a moment to reflect back on some of those choices you made back then. And yes, for many of us, it's a long, long time ago. That part of you still exists, and that part of you is being asked a question. What do you want? What do you want of this new earth, this new timeline? Where do you want to live? What do you want to do? How do you want to play? How much money do you want to be able to bring in as continual flow? And what do you want to let go of? What do you want to release out of your life? Who do you want to be with? Who do you want to bring into your life? Who do you want to let go of? And I invite you, for every trigger now that you're given, triggers of war, triggers of fear, triggers of control, triggers of inequality, triggers of injustice, I feel every pulse of anger within every heartbeat. I feel the fear that is intensifying across humanity also. These fears are also your teachers. They ask for you to see these fears. Humanity is entering a new dawn where you are given the choice to trust and love each other once more. If you choose this, say it out loud. I love you, fellow human. I love you, neighbor. I love you, neighbors all across the world. Say it out loud. I'm not fearful of you. I love you. And if you do act upon me in any negative ways, I want you to know that I have strong boundaries. And I want you to know that I still love you. I do not fear you. I simply stand up for my boundaries, for my sovereignty. I make a stand. January 17th, January 27th. This is the window of this door opening. And once the 27th passes, the door will remain open, but know that the door will never disappear. This is the aspect of the locking in of your highest timeline. And your highest timeline is your passage across your rainbow bridge to your fifth dimension. So make clear choices. In this broken world you find yourself, make choices in every moment that will help you live your highest timeline and help others, leading by example and helping others when you choose to. And with this, I return you to Jon. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mother Gaia. Wow. There's a lot there. I'm just going to get some water. 1 second. Wonderful. Excuse me. I do feel those choices so important. And it's so inspiring seeing people making choices. You can feel that there are examples across the world now of people making choices, from peaceful walks to standing up for their human rights, to choosing to engage with videos like this, to choosing to reconnect with nature. And some big choices that have been coming up in my personal life, which I will share in time. Right now, just know that those choices, I must admit, as I entered this year, I didn't really realize what gaps I had in some of those choices. And for me, one of those big things is, what do I want longer term in my life? And I also had this really beautiful message yesterday, which is part of those choices you can make in your highest timeline. Is, yes, it's important to make choices about what you're doing, who you're with, how that feels, in your futures, and acting on that now, because it's a now choice, right? We're in this timeline convergence now. Excuse me. There's a lot of energy and truth releasing. One of the things that we sometimes forget is that it's so important to make choices about your health, and that really health is a much stronger currency to you than money. You know, do you want to die younger with lots of money left in your bank account, kind of hoarded away? Or do you want to focus this now moment on your happiness and health? Because without a happy, healthy body, even with being unhappy and healthy, unhappy but healthy, you might be able to do things. Maybe I can see you going on a roller coaster and you're like, oh, this is not fun. I'm still unhappy. You know, the things outside of us don't make us happy. Our health is a beautiful reminder of what's really important and what's important in our choices. You know, what do you want for your health long term? And to make those choices, see yourself and feel yourself holistically. Some of the things I've been doing, especially as I get older, looking at the the nutrients in my diet, looking at my exercise routines, and I've focused over the last few months, especially more on mobility, as well as a little bit more weight, especially as I get older and you start to, as men, start to lose muscle mass. It's like, I don't want to lose anymore. um, I need to hang on to what I can get, and if anything, build a little more. So yeah, there's clear choices, and sometimes we feel that we're powerless. Sometimes we feel that we don't have choices. And that is exactly what those that try and control you, they want you to feel like that. They want you to feel that they're the ones in control. And sometimes it's important to reflect on that and say, well, do I even want a government in the future? Is that what I want? Do I want governments? Do I want countries? They're all choices. It just doesn't feel like that much, right? We saw this week in the UK, our government, due to a lot of pressure from people, doing a U-turn on enforcing mandatory digital IDs, which is fantastic, right? It's like, that's a choice. It's a choice that we're making. And even the choice of human rights, I grew up with human rights being a concept. They're a human concept, right? You could simply describe them as a set of kind of standards that describe how humans need to look after each other, regardless of the things that are going on in the world. What if we chose to increase human rights? What if we chose to elevate them? What if we chose to bring more balance, justice, consequences, whatever we chose, to those that violate human rights? It's a beautiful concept. And I remember my spirit guide Maya saying to me, human rights is not, I know it's called human rights, which kind of gives it away, but human rights are not, they don't necessarily exist on other planets, right? They don't have, like she's saying, for example, the Lyrans don't have Lyran rights. And it doesn't mean that they treat each other any worse. It's more culturally, they don't really need them. Not that they're perfect by any means, but there's this feeling that humans should be proud. We should be really proud of some of these things we have created and some of the choices. And they're often led, a lot of these, not just human rights, but lots of different initiatives and choices that we make are often led by, people that stand up. They're people like you and me who are just a Joe average human who stand up and say, I want to make a choice, and this is what I choose. I choose a world with equality. I choose a world with compassion. I choose a world with unconditional love and abundance. And every time you're being triggered, as Mother Gaia was saying, triggered by what's going on outside of us, allow the trigger to come up, allow it to rise up, feel it in your body, feel it. And I say it out loud. Yesterday, I was being triggered by some of the kind of warring activity, or pre-warring activity, like threats of war. And I just said out loud, I was watching YouTube, and I just said, I placed my hand on my stomach, said, I feel triggered. And on my heart, I said, I feel triggered by this. I feel the fear. I feel the fear of that. I just held that for a moment. When you honor that fear, it feels powerful. It's empowering. It's almost like you're coming in as a parent and holding that inner child of yourself and saying, yeah, I feel that. I feel that fear. I feel scared. I feel scared of that. Sometimes I find it helpful to tell others that too. I'll often tell my wife what I'm scared of. And it's just funny because she'll look at me like, why are you saying that? like almost like it's a kind of dull background ache fear for many of us. But when we do share it, it's empowering. And often it helps drive us towards action. And so for me, the next thing was, well, first of all, I just stopped what I was watching. It's like, it's making me feel fearful, and I can feel how that's sometimes addictive for me. So I stopped that video, and I then did this thing. I love this. This is a hobby for me. Well, I'll try and find small YouTube channels and just go and support them. And it's so lovely, right? Because it massively increases the diversity of what you consume on YouTube. And it supports when you turn up in the comments of a small YouTube channel, because I know what that's like, right? Some people might look at my YouTube channel now and think it's small. You definitely would have thought it was small when I was back, when I had 10 to 50 subscribers. And I was, creating content every day. Remembering that when we connect with each other, we diversify the ways in which we connect, not just kind of connecting to the big YouTube channels, like seeking and finding the little YouTube channels, often newer, not always, that we're supporting them, but also we're increasing the diversity of our awareness. It becomes what we consume becomes our reality, right? And you hear so many people talk about how our brains don't really know the difference between reality and what we watch on TV, or watch movies. Like it really is, it becomes our reality. That's something that's not lost on those that try to control us. And I'm also really proud of YouTube, seeing that YouTube is diversifying the algorithm. I keep seeing more and more really small YouTube channels with big numbers of views on their videos. It's like, yay, that's what we want, right? We don't need to have huge followings. What we need is huge hearts with authentic, beautiful content, and rewarding that individual content, not penalizing someone when they just like kind of shadow banning people. In other words, just ignoring their content just because they have a smaller number of subscribers. And I feel that's important too, especially with our discernment. There's still a lot of legacy, structures that we see around us, including in this kind of new age, and including the psychic communities, spiritual communities online. It's like some of those, you can feel that some of the people that have been in for many years have had large followings. That's shifting, and it's becoming much more diverse, which was absolutely fantastic. And if you ever wonder why I have guests, for example, on my channel who, like, it's their first podcast, or it's their first live stream, or it's a first for them, I love that, because I really love, it's really important for me to support people, because I will never forget the journey I've got to this far. And I know that others will look at, what I've developed so far on YouTube and would say, that's small. There's no point in comparing. It's just always to help each other. It just gives me a lovely feeling in my heart. Okay. So let me also ask my spirit guides what's coming up for us. Because from my 8-year predictions, we've spoken a few times in the recent videos about the 17th to the 27th, and it's really interesting. I don't just stick to my notes, right? I keep asking. I take notes because my memory is terrible. I blame it on a quantum memory across space and time. Space and time. That's what my memory feels like. So we heard from Mother Gaia about January 17th and 27th. And I was really curious about, so let's take a little bit of a longer view. So that's also alongside ET contact. There was a quiet period for me personally. Not a lot happening in my skies, not a lot happening here on Earth. And then bam, it's like this week has just blows my mind. So if I remember, at the end of this video, I'll add in maybe here or here, a link to my Psychic Tree Talk video. Go and watch that from this week. And in that video, at the end of it, I met 2 Pleiadians. So these are extraterrestrial beings from the Pleiades, and they were my mother and father in a previous life. And it was so funny because you can watch the video, and now I get a bit of an opportunity for a bit of a debrief, right? And it's a couple of days later, because I was shocked. I was like, I was in the kind of winding down, ending a video, starting to talk about what's coming up in the week. I've got a live stream coming up, and I've got to, access my free meditations. And I was starting to get into that mode. And then I just could barely talk. I was like, and I was so distracted because I could see in my third eye these 2 beautiful Pleiadian beings appearing. They kind of materialized a bit like the kind of Star Trek transporters, right? They faded into existence. And I would describe them as coming into 4th dimension. So that made it really easy for me to see with my third eye. And I could see often when I see beings with my third eye, I don't see, unlike in the 3rd dimension, I don't see like I won't always initially see the whole being in incredible detail. It depends where I'm looking. So it's almost like I'm shining a spotlight. So if I'm looking so the first thing is I start looking at their hair and face, and they both had quite long hair. They're both quite tall. And there was like a kind of, their skin was this kind of it was like a mix of gray and some blues in there. Not gray like drained, more like a darker gray. And their clothes, they were like wearing this kind of long, like flowing clothes. They also felt quite practical. Like I could see my Pleiadian father had like a belt on. It looked like he'd maybe just been dragged out of his little Pleiadian, I was going to say man cave, Pleiadian cave, Pleiadian male cave. and had been asked to like appear for a few moments by my Pleiadian mother. And they were both stood right next to each other, like one arm, like her arm was around his waist. And they were just, I've not met them before, right? And they were just saying to me, we love you, we're really proud of you. And I've been aware of my lifetimes in Pleiades. I haven't really connected much with them. And so it came as a big shock. And especially that feeling of, my parents in this life, they divorced when I was, divorced when I was about 16. And so I'm not really used to seeing 2 parents together now. And it was lovely. It was beautiful. And I just stopped there, and you'll see in the video, I had a bit of an interaction and even a hug, which was beautiful. And then afterwards, because I was also consciously aware, it's like, people would just think I'm crazy, right? Because, I mean, if you made it this far in the video, you're either intrigued by my craziness, or you're like, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's some sort of reality to this, even if it's not in, that experience wasn't in the 3rd dimension. Because I checked the footage, at least on my phone, and I couldn't see, like, in the 3rd dimension, really any sign of these 2 beautiful Pleiadian parents. And then afterwards, it was quite shortly afterwards, so just after I'd finished the video and I was driving home in my motorhome, it's funny because it's like you can hear Patch, my dog, listening to me. It's like, yeah, what happened? My spirit guide Maya said, because I was asking, how did that go? Is there anything I could have done, differently? And my spirit guide Maya like totally stated the obvious and just said, you could have just asked them to step into the 3rd dimension. And I was like, I almost like at that point, like hit the brakes, and it's like, it's like, I did what? I didn't ask them to come into the 3rd dimension. That would have been YouTube gold. And it struck, really struck me that this is when we talk about ET contact, this is absolutely, one-to-one. It's human to extraterrestrial family connections, and across space and time, right? Because right now I'm Jon Human, but really all time runs in parallel. All our lifetimes really run in parallel. It's just easier a lot of the time for us. We're programmed to understand linear time. And I just didn't, it doesn't occur to you, right? It's like, well, maybe I should have just invited them into my motorhome or invited them back home. It's like, yeah, like these are real. Like these experiences are real. And so all you need to do is what's happening is what you've been doing. What's happening is you're going through kind of a series of tests, and what's happening is you're being tested to see how fearful you are, right? So if I just stopped for a minute going, oh, sorry guys, I don't know why I can't talk for a moment. I was distracted I thought I saw something. Oh, it must be in my imagination, and kept walking. That would be, that's how I walk. That would be, that would be a far more common human reaction, right? Close up your heart, get a bit scared, ignore it, deny it, move on. What I'm learning is that if you really choose, going back to Mother Gaia's choices and the choices for your highest time, if you choose ET contact, then open your heart to these experiences. Have discernment, have strong boundaries. I'm always really clear when I'm inviting ET contact in. Oh, Pat, you're digging up the rug beneath my feet. I think he's hunting for snacks. That I always feel we're being encouraged to open our hearts, and so it's like the more you open your heart, your ET family will step one step closer. So just be really clear in the intention and just say, yes, I accept all ET beings that have my ET family. I feel ET family is a good term, that have my highest good at heart. I mean, what could go wrong if they have your highest good at heart, right? So I hope that helps. Before we go into answering your questions, and you've been putting in some beautiful questions, thank you. I'd love to ask about really what happens after January 27th. Is there anything through February and March we should be aware of? And if not, I'm really keen to know a bit more about previous predictions I have for the 5D split. And it's so funny because I don't really watch other psychics. The others that I watch, they're on my YouTube channel, right? And what I have seen is some thumbnails that pop up for people, and it's so funny. Some of these big names, making predictions of, ET contact will be 2027 or whatever. I'm like, this is not a prediction, right? It's happening now, and one thing I didn't mention is our skies, certainly here in Scotland, have absolutely been alive over the last couple of weeks as well. It was quiet for a couple of weeks because I was hoping so much that I would see Christmas Day activity when there's less flights, because the year prior, the sky was swarming, like literal swarms of orbs. I'd never seen anything like it, and it was 6 months before I bought my night vision camera, so I couldn't even film them anyway. But that's what it feels like. There's this returning of activity. So I'm really intrigued about my predictions of the summer. So Q2, so January, February, March, Q1, and then April, May, June. So I'm interested in April, May, June as well. So this is all a rambling series of questions for my guides. Let's open this question up to my guides, including those guides that are members of the Galactic Federation. My Lyran guide, Eminchel, step forwards. Hello, Eminchel. And he's doing this really loud roar. He's going, rah! And it's like this rah for ages. And it reminds me of something out of The Lion King, standing on top of a cliff, just roaring. And he says, this is why these changes are upon us, is because of our releasing of anger. Our anger has blinded humanity. So it's our anger towards each other has blinded us and held us back from higher timelines and also the fifth dimension. Anger turning to rage, purges. Thank you. And I'm just asking about February and March, and he's saying, you do know, Jon, that you're in a roller coaster. Have you not noticed? And I said, yeah, I get that. And he said, the roller coaster of humanity continues. And he's saying the energy of it it feels like an acceleration. The biggest difference is that because we've purged this anger and rage, not all of it, right? But it's a great first start for us. It's created enough space for us in our hearts to bring in more love. So this roller coaster isn't just always going down, right? It's not just like this vertical drop ride that many of us have felt for many years. It's also coming back up. So there's more ups and downs and ups and downs. And you know what? You know, when you're on a roller coaster, now you might be someone that prefers the ups more than you prefer the downs. You might prefer the loops. It's like we all choose which parts of the experiences we really resonate with, and it depends how we're feeling at the time. And we were shown this earlier, right? That I'm sure I'd made this reference before, is eating an ice cream. If you ever see videos of people trying to eat ice creams whilst going on a roller coaster, it's just so funny, right? And I keep being shown this visual, which is there's a lot of drama, right? Especially the fear programming. You know, we're gonna like declare war on ourselves, you know. And it's really funny, right? And so you're kind of sitting there, you know, licking your ice cream. I have quite a long tongue, so I don't want to freak out by licking an imaginary ice cream with a giant tongue. So there's this feeling of having an opportunity to see that it's not just fear that's been rising. Now love is rising also. And so it's rising up to meet. And there's this swirling energy as the two enter our consciousness, awareness, and begin to become part of our reality together. Okay, and he says, and Evan Shell says, this is also the waves of love. So the continued waves. So these don't stop, right? These ascension waves, they keep coming in to Earth for many years. That's good news. I'm glad they're not going to stop. It feel like we were being given up on. Okay, and any events, anything we can do through January, February, March to support our ascension, Em and Shell, other than buy ice cream and go on roller coasters? He says getting really used to, for example, meditating in busy places, doing joyful things in fearful places. He says what we're being tested to do also, we're being encouraged to, is, you know that feeling once you identify a fear, it's really easy to excuse yourself and say, well, I'm scared of that, so I'm not going to do that, right? And so this is why Emin Shell stepped forward, the brave Lionheart, Lyran, with his big roar at the beginning. And he says, you know, would you go and meditate in a busy city? Would you meditate at work, maybe at your desk for 5 minutes? So it's taking, two extremes and bringing them together, an act of a loving meditation and I was just asking about that because I was saying, I don't really work in an office now. Well, I don't work in an office at all. But when I did the last year and a half that I worked at Amazon, I ran a weekly, sometimes twice weekly meditation class for everyone to come in. And it creates, he's saying, you're creating with an intention about what you want for the future in the very places where it's not happening, right? So it's like you're programming reality around you when you take a thought that fills you with joy and action, you take action on it and you go and do it in a place that is actually counter to that. And he said that's why the Buddhist monks and their peace walks are so inspiring to us, because it's intentional to walk at least one country, for example, that is seen to being aggressive towards other countries. Now, the reality is every country is at it, right? Just depends where you consume your news from. So there's this like acceptance that you have an opportunity to feel into acts of love. Self-care is an act of love, and then there's also acts of love outside of us. And he's laughing about my psychic tree talks and saying, for example, encouraging people to connect with nature is a beautiful act of love. Okay. And also just asking about into the following 3 months. So April, May, June. So he says you're going to feel this like ramp up. Okay, and it does say right enough in my notes, it says begin/accelerates. This ramping up of energy, it feels like time, a sensation of time accelerating. And then what happens, Michelle? He says this is when it begins to become clearer that for the first times that the world really needs to change. So what we're doing is creating this kind of parallel duality in the same dimension, right? So we're in the same dimension together, and yet there's a big broad frequency range of joy and love and unity and unconditional love, and then this fear at the same time, the two of them coexisting. But at the moment, there's like just a little bit of love and a lot of fear, right? So as that fear expands, he's showing me that if you kind of twist this on its side, these two parallels start to show that we're inside of us, we're starting to make more choices. We're starting to say, okay, I don't really choose that fear. I don't want those fear things happening. Why am I paying for that? Why is that happening from my country? Why is Scotland being used for a base for that? Right? And starting to take action. And it all starts from inside, because the first things you have to face inside of you, as Mother Gaia was saying, is you have to face inside of you, what do I want? Yes, you can take action on react to individual things, but you also have the opportunity to choose. I choose a sovereign country that is loving and giving and is in love with all of humanity and fills its cup first and can serve the world. You choose, right? You choose for yourself as well. And so because that takes us into July, August, September, where we start to take action against those that are propagating fear, right? So there's this like shift from right now we're in like a little bit of love and a lot of fear, right? And then through into Q2, what starts to happen is that love's already been expanding and shifting, and if you've chosen to, you've entered into your highest timeline, and then they start to like become much more transparent to each other. It's like, there's a lot of love, there's also a lot of fear, and it's like, what do you want to choose? I choose love. This is my talking hands. Oh wow, these are not a new feature, guys. I've always had my hands. So, but what we get to choose is like, I want less fear. It's like, okay. And then we start to take action. So we start to move more into the truths and purging and trials of, and by this I mean court cases against and prosecutions of those that have been propagating fear. Because when you choose a world of love and equality and compassion and all the things that you want on your personal list, it's at tension with what's happening in the world. And so the more of us that choose, and we don't all need to have like the same view of the world. I don't think that's helpful either, right? And yet what I do feel is that generally, as we choose higher vibrations and don't just accept the fear as being somehow the norm or that that's in any way acceptable, as we make those choices within ourselves, within our hearts, it starts to shine a light more and more on the fears. Like, what are you guys up to? Why are you doing those things? Why are you even talking like that? Like, just stop it, right? Come and join us on the love side. Choose love. And eventually what starts to happen is through this year and into Q4, you see people, more and more people choosing the highest timeline. The door's open. It's been open since January. You can step into your highest timeline. You can step into the fifth dimension and help build it with us, or you can stay deep, dark down in the third dimension in your fear if you want. And that's okay too, right? You get to choose. Okay. Well, that was wonderful. And let me go on and ask for, you've already given me questions, so thank you. Let me go and check in on questions. Just press my reverb pedal. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Okay. So this is the first one from Sarah. Sarah Shoop 8976. Thank you for your question. You said on the 31st of December, since frequencies travel through space, do we not pick up on them here because we're protected from them as part of the Earth experiment, or pre-shift reality we have been living in? Or was it because other beings in the rest of the universe use frequencies that don't have the capabilities to track? Okay. I must admit, I don't consciously fully understand the question. I'm not really sure what the frequencies are. But you know what? I don't need to understand it all. I have some friends in high vibe places. So let me open this question up to my spirit guides, Sol, Luna, Gaia, the Archangels. Okay, Sol is coming forwards. As Sol came forwards, this beautiful energy, and this interruption of answering the question, which is, so we will get to your question, which is the sky today here in Scotland is beautiful, filled with these rainbow colors. The most beautiful dawn I've seen in my life. And I couldn't fully see it because of the houses and the trees around where I live. Just the energy of it, just incredible. I will post it. It's unlikely that I'll remember to put it into this video, right? But that I took at least one photo of it. I'll post it on my YouTube channel posts page. It used to be called the community tab. Now it's called posts. Thank you, Sol. Thank you for reminding me. And Sol says, this is because you are in Ascension. Sol says, Ascension territory. Welcome to Ascension. Welcome. And so the sun absolutely receives frequencies. Sol says that his heart chakra of the sun is a portal directly into source. It's the same as what we have as humans, except ours are much smaller. We have smaller hearts and smaller heart chakras than the sun. And so the sun, so we also have a portal connection into source. And this is also, so these frequencies travel through from the center of the universe, from some people call it universal sun. Really, it's a universal star. And it's I see that as a massive, like a giant star at the center of the universe that is the largest physical, or you can describe it as third dimensional existence of source. And source is in everything, every vibration, everything, right? And what's one of the differences between Sol, our sun, and the universal star is that Sol is really one soul, whereas universal star has unity of source. So many souls I also do it sometimes in client sessions, or I know you're asking for me to teach that in the 5D Ascension classes, astral project, like travel in and out of the universal sun, the universal star as well. So those energies, they flow directly from source, and some of that comes directly through our hearts. Even bigger volumes, especially for these ascension waves that are helping us upgrade our DNA, these are flowing through the center of the sun to us, says Sol. Thank you, Sol. So when it says, do we not pick up on them here because we're protected from them as part of the Earth experiment? Okay, so there is, Sol is saying that the dark matrix, so this is a technology, and a lot of it's been a fourth dimensional technology. It's an overlay of many different devices and nodes. Some of it exists on the surface, beneath the surface of the planet. I describe it as an artificial set of like ley lines and a web of energy. It's a bit like a human having an artificial nervous system, like placed. Imagine having an artificial nervous system placed on top of you. Good news is, right, it's been falling apart for ages, right? And a lot of our ET friends are helping clear it up. And that's a lot of the activity we're seeing happening in the sky. Certainly when I talk to those beings, Sol is doing his bit too, and helping, a lot of the solar activities, helping burn away the dark matrix. I keep wanting to call it the dark web, but it's not just like the dark side of humanity's internet, right? It is, I'm talking about actual, like a huge web frame, a matrix frame that runs around the outside of the Earth. The problem or the limitation with it, you could describe it as it's a fear control system. So it's designed to be a cage, a fourth dimensional cage around the Earth. So we can't really see it very well from the third dimension, right? We just get glimpses of it now and again. And it's funny because Sol's laughing and saying, that's why some of you think it's like a hologram, or you think like Earth is really strange. And he said a lot of it is the dark matrix behaviors that we witness. And the challenge that the dark matrix has with these high vibration ascension waves is that it can't block them, right? Because when you're in a lower vibration, you can't reach up. It's kind of like standing at the bottom of a mountain and trying to like shout at the people at the top of the mountain and say, hey, you up there, stop being happy, right? There's just too much of a gap. There's too much of a frequency gap. And so this also explains, if you ever feel like you're in love and you feel joyful, in those moments, you often feel like the fears just don't touch you. They're like little ankle biters. Hey, come back down to fear. And you're like, no, I'm having such a fun time up here. Go away, get off my ankles. So that's this truth that Sol is sharing, is that the ascension waves come through no matter what. They're too high vibration to block. The only thing that can happen is, so this is why this came up as well this week for me, was Project Looking Glass, which I'd been aware of from around 2011, 2012, back when I was like focused on being like a truther. I was like, what are all the truths? What are all the conspiracies? The Looking Glass feels very real. And it's an ET technology device that allows you to look into the future through different timelines. And many different countries have looked into the future and gone, oh no, like just as I said, all that fear, it like disappears. Like we're like, our game is up. So what are we going to do? So there's this like feeling of scrabbling for control. And what they're trying to do to you is shrink your heart chakra down to make you feel fearful and to slow down. So when you're in fear, you slow down a closed heart chakra that's scared and fearful of what's going to happen next and who's going to attack who and who's going to, take me out of my home, or how am I going to live, or I'm going to run out of money or run out of food, or people that I love, all those, you can be scared of anything, right? When you're in that state, you absorb very little ascension waves, but it doesn't stop, says Soul, right? And that's good news, right? That's really good news. Okay. And then I just want to check the second part, which was Sarah's asking, or was it because other beings in the rest of the universe use frequencies that don't have the capabilities to track, that we don't have the capabilities to track? Okay. So let me just ask about this. This feels more about communication. Really interesting. So, I'm not going to name a country. Right? It's not very helpful, and I don't believe it's just one country doing this. So I was shown this process of when, how I describe like low vibration people, if you like, can't access. So if people aren't low vibration, we're all equal. It's they've chosen to be in a fearful state. Let's say they're in a greed, control, maybe in a role where they want to like try and dominate the world. Maybe they're aware of the dark matrix. Maybe they're propagating fear across the world for their own agenda, for their own greed. Those people that are doing this, what they do is, it's like Soul was showing me, like they'll sometimes like pull in an angel. So they would like pull in a happy person, right? That is full of love and, really wants to help the universe. And they would kind of con them a bit, like dupe them into working with them, we've changed our ways and we just want you to help, like, for instance, talk with some archangels or talk with some high vibration Lyrans, and so they bring these people in, and then quite quickly the people are like, hang on, your energy's weird. It feels like quite low vibration. I'm not really enjoying this. And their vibration also lowers quite quickly, and they actually start to lose the ability of connecting up to higher frequencies. So that was really interesting to see that it's kind of like I don't know, there's some good human term for this, like it's a zero-sum game, like, that it doesn't really, they get little glimpses of maybe, I might be able to talk to Archangel Michael briefly, and then like, oh no, now I'm back down and I can't talk to any higher vibration beings. So yeah, definitely frequency is a huge thing. Excuse me, Patch. Patch is looking for his last dog treat. There you go, Patch. Go and get it. Oh, sorry, buddy. There it is. Go and get it. He can't see very well, so he'll smell it eventually. So yeah, I found it really interesting about, it's true, when you're in a lower vibration, you just don't perceive the higher vibrations of the universe. Like they don't really exist. They don't exist to you, right? And this is fundamentally a big problem that a lot of us conceptually have with dimensions, is that there's a layer of reality that you and I are in right now. And above that, there's another layer, and that layer above us is another dimension, but it's not real to us when we're down here. It's not real, right? And so that's why when our brains think about it and our heart connects with this higher vibration, we're like, well, that's not real, right? Until you start to discover ways, just like I've been showing, or at least demonstrating today, of, opening your heart, a nice safe space, looking after yourself, happy and healthy, and keeping out fear with a nice open heart and connecting up to these, higher vibrational beings. And it's true, if you, for example, go to a psychic, right, and I always feel that the spirit guides that you'll get coming through in a client session are only within the frequency range of the receiver, right? So it's no coincidence that I get a lot of high vibration beings, right? I get, what did I have this week? Arcturians, Blu-rays, Blue Avians, these Palladians, these are like 5th, 6th, 7th, 12th, and higher. Angels of the highest order. I'm not trying to name drop. I'm just saying, like, there's a whole frequency range of beings, and they're just like a tip of the iceberg. And if you work with maybe a psychic medium that's much more, I don't know, maybe they still drink alcohol and eat low vibration food, and they're much more down in the third dimension, you're probably more likely to get a reading from them that has your auntie and uncle coming forwards, as a guide, not these higher vibrations. So I feel that's really powerful to feel into, as well as, starting to understand that it's all about frequency matches. So I'm trying my very best to answer your question, Sarah. And I feel like, in short, we do receive all vibrations here on Earth. They can't be blocked, especially the high vibrations. And these ascension waves that help upgrade our DNA, they're constantly changing our DNA. That's why we're tired so much when we get these big activities, especially through the sun. And Sol's just saying, yes, John, your solar flares, your solar activity, these bursts of plasma that come through. And to really look after yourself and look after your body through these big transformations. No one can block this. You can't block ascension. That's what Project Looking Glass taught these nefarious powers, the elites around the world. They know they've already seen the future where they lose, right? So what you're witnessing is like the bad guys at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, knowing that they've lost, and just like, well, I don't know, I'll just cause mayhem. Like, I'll smash up the hotel room on the way. Like, it's that kind of feeling. But don't worry, they don't smash up the hotel. They can't. And also remember, and this is a really important message, especially when I brought up themes of wars, that there has already been for decades extraterrestrial family intervention preventing war, and know that this will continue. And especially when you choose a world of peace and you ask for help, you say, please come in and help us, please intervene. This gives them the right to intervene. And it can't just be one of us, right? It can't just be John. It's like, I'll just say, hey, everybody, I've got a request on behalf of all humans. It has to be each of us, right? So finally, there's a 7. We're just about to 8, 108 minutes, okay? My final request for all of you is, please put in the comments the world that you want. What do you want for yourself? What do you want for your happiness, health, job, people around you? What do you want to be doing? And what do you want for the rest of the world? The more you speak it into reality, right? And just typing it, saying it out loud and typing it into my comments, or your comments in my video, this is what transforms the world. You create the energy of you saying it and typing it, brings it into the third dimension. That's why I do all this Hi, It's John videos and songs and channeled messages like this. It's all about bringing it down from higher vibrations and into the third dimension. Wonderful. So I will bring our session to an end, thanking our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, Sol and Luna, and all the members of the Galactic Federation as well. Thank you so much for all your support and love today. And we'd like to ask everyone in the video today, please, that's accessing the video, please step outside of the shared space as I close it down. And you can remain in your individual protective bubbles for as long as you choose. I close the shared space down. And return to source, or never return here again. Please get plenty of rest. Drink as much water as it feels right for you. Some really cool things will pop up here and here. Maybe that video I mentioned about my psychic tree talk and meeting Palladians at the end. maybe you'll book me for a one-to-one session because you want to learn about your extraterrestrial family and your soul origins and what you want. Maybe you want me to take you to your future life. Maybe you want me to help you get into the fifth dimension. And subscribe, like, comment, hype, do all the things. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you so, so much. Thank you for supporting me and my family. And it's an absolute honor to serve you. Take so much care. I love you. I love you.